Yeah, everyone. Buenos días, buenas tardes, I guess. Yeah, we are here to talk about why crypto is really, really awesome. Before of that, though, I would love to do a show of hands who here understands Spanish, because we may be able to do this thing in Spanish. If everyone understands it, otherwise, no. So if you understand Spanish, put your hand up. That is all. I think we're going to fall back to English still, but thank you for that. You can, if you have any questions about that, you can come ask us in Spanish afterwards. But yeah, we are Worldcoin, and we are here to talk about why crypto is really, really awesome. That did not switch there. That seems wrong. There we go. OK. So crypto is really, really awesome. I don't think I have to explain it. I feel like everyone agrees why crypto is really good. It has unlimited distribution. It's decentralized. All of these really cool things. The issue, though, is that while it is really, really cool, it has a big hoarding problem, where the people that got to it first kind of like got most of it, and now the new people getting in have less advantage. It's like less inclusive. You have to be early, basically. And at Worldcoin, we had this idea of what if Bitcoin has started by giving each person in the world one Bitcoin? How would the network effects play out? How would accessibility to this technology improve the world? And so Bitcoin is unfortunately really expensive, so we cannot just like buy 8 billion Bitcoins and give it to everyone. But we thought, let's do it with a different currency. Let's do it with a Worldcoin. And pretty quickly, we got into a big problem, which is if we're going to give something that is valuable for free to everyone, people are going to try to game it. They're going to try to claim multiple pieces. And so how do we make sure that each person only claims their part once? And there's this thing called civil attacks. It's pretty common, especially in like airdrops from the company, which is from different projects, which is when someone just like creates multiple wallets and pretends to be multiple people. Maybe they're doing like some activity to seem active, and then just like give them the money and they sell it. So that's not really good for the project. That's not really good for pretty much anyone except for those people. And that is called a civil attack. And we wanted something called civil resistance. We wanted to be able to tell people online. And we wanted specifically something that was both private, inclusive, and scalable. Something that the whole world could be onboarded into, something that didn't require you to give out your personal information, and something that didn't really differentiate from early or late, that anyone really could sign up to. Something universal. And so we started looking into the options. Asking for email or phone serves as a way of identity, but it's like, I personally have like more than 10 emails, so it's not super civil resistant. Then maybe you could ask for a passport or an ID. But aside from like some people in some places of the world not really having IDs, this has a big problem with the privacy part, because then we need to store your info. Then we looked into something called Web of Trust, which is when people authenticate other people. And the issue there, aside from a bunch of like mathematical stuff, is that you need an initial Web of Trust source. So you need an initial set of users that you trust, and then people that are like super separated from those people, maybe someone here in LATAM, if this gets started in SF, it will be much harder for them to get authenticated as humans. So it's not super scalable. And then we looked into biometrics, which is something that everyone has. It's relatively easy to sign up and we say, OK, maybe this will work. And so there are multiple biometrics that we could use. The most important measure here was what they call entropy. Whatever we use has to have enough information so that we can tell 8 billion humans apart. An example of this is the fingerprint. You cannot, like, fingerprints are not different enough so that you could tell 8 billion humans apart just from the fingerprint. And also, if you make a little cut on your fingerprint, now it's a completely new one. So it is also super civil resistance. We have the face, but the face kind of has the same problem. Face ID from the iPhone can tell you apart from around like 30 million people. Obviously, it locks after 10 attempts, but if 30 million people try to unlock it, one of them could. So it's also not super scalable for us. We have the palm, which has the same issue with the fingertip, where you can just like make a little cut or have someone finger in the middle, and that's, again, a unique one. You have DNA, which could make me work, but aside from being even more creepy than scanning your eye, it's also really expensive to process and takes time, and it's a mess. So we go to the iris, which stays constant after you have grown up, and it's unique, it's easy to verify, and it's really, really hard to change. And so we started looking, what can we use for these irises? Maybe we can use our phone cameras. Turns out you need a really, really high resolution for these things. And the phone cameras are unfortunately not enough. Same thing for off-the-shelf devices that are built for this, like whatever Clear uses or all of these other sources. These also have the issue of they're usually made to verify, not identify. So what that means is you will put in your ID and it will say, okay, let's make sure that this is Miguel. I'm going to check their iris with like the iris that we have stored for Miguel. What we want to do is make sure that my iris is not in a list of 8 billion eyes. And so those tools are not built for that. And they were like, okay, maybe we have to build custom hardware. And that is not great. No one wants to build custom hardware. It's a really, really hard problem. But after a while, we ended up building this thing, the orb. This one is the special Mexican edition, which basically takes care of making sure that you're real, making sure that you're not trying to trick it by scanning a dead body or a pet or just like showing a picture of an eye to it. And then it will look at your iris and it will compute what we call an iris code, which is then used to register you without actually having to save the photo of your irises. Because again, privacy is really important. And so we have a solution that will, is this thing one slide? Kind of have the feeling that every time that I press the button, it's just like one slide below. Anyways, we can work with that. I'm just like sorry for the context before. But basically, we have a solution that doesn't require images or your name or contact info or any ways or traditional KYC. We just have this iris code that is computed from your iris. But that's not really enough. We wanted something more. Because even with the system, if we just like said, OK, this wallet is verified, then you can kind of track your wallet across different usages of the protocol and figure out who they are. And so we looked into using zero-knowledge proofs. Now it jumped to. Anyways, we looked into using zero-knowledge proofs in order to fix it. And we ended up with a system that is pretty complex. Jumping around. Anyways, we ended up with a system which is like pretty complex, but it works really well. It preserves your privacy. It's fully private, even maybe anonymous, where you can just like get scanned, you get added to the list, and then you can anonymously verify that you are on the list, which are revealing which entry of the list you are. So this was great. We said, let's go outside, let's try it out. We went all around the world to more than, oh, it's just like delayed a few seconds, okay. To more than 25 countries, and we tried it pretty much anywhere that we can think of. We onboarded more than 650,000 people. It's changed a little bit since this image because we keep growing. And it is fully open source as well. You can check the code for the open source protocol, and we're going to continue open sourcing the hardware of the orb and everything else. But there was one thing that kept coming up. Since everyone was saying, you built this whole system to give out your coin, to give out WorldCoin to everyone. Isn't it a shame that you're only going to like use it once and then throw it away? And there's a bunch of other apps that could also use this civilization that you're building and something that is as scalable as this. Why can we not reuse it? And yeah, we went and we built that. And we built a protocol called WalletID, which allows you to reuse the same security and verification that we have created ourselves to do all of these things. And so WalletID is a protocol to anonymously verify that, first of all, someone is a real person, but also they've never done something before, like claiming WorldCoin or voting on a governance proposal. And it does this completely anonymously. It will not reveal any information. So for example, I can prove I'm a real human and I have never claimed WorldCoin, or I have never voted in a poll, or minted NFT, or redeemed this airdrop, or even completely Web2 things like join the Discord or follow someone on Twitter. And the system that enables all of these is really, really complex, specifically because you want to maintain privacy. But the really good news is that you don't need to really care about any of these things. Integrating this whole thing into your app basically takes this code. You put this in, it will show a CAPTCHA-like widget, which is there, that CAPTCHA. And so users can just like click that, scan the QR with that shows up with their WorldCoin app, actually using WalletConnect, which we saw before, and then you just like verify that either through an API or on-chain with our contracts, and there you go, you have civil assistance. So for example, if you have this example airdrop app, you literally just have to add a wallet in there, and there you go. It will pop up in the app as this application wants to verify that you're human, you click verify, and you get the whole thing that you can then verify anywhere. So it's really, really easy, and it's really, really powerful too. It's super flexible. We've been talking for ages about all of the really cool things that having civil assistance could enable, and now we have civil assistance, so we can start playing with all of these forms of quadratic voting and funding. We can do airdrops, we can do social incentives, all of these really, really cool things. And also, you can use it, obviously, right now. We have developer.worldcoin.org. We also have worldcoin.org/Mexico, which has all of the resources that you guys will need. And just like to show again how easy this is, Paolo here is going to actually add WalletID to an app from scratch. So we're going to take an app to Mintapo app, and we're going to show you how you would make that civil assistant. It's a really simple app. It doesn't even use on-chain. It makes use of the API. But I feel like it's a really good example of how easy it is in literally 5 minutes to make sure that your users can only make an action once or register or any of these things. While that's loading, I'll share a bunch of examples of what we've been using this for. One of the things that we've been doing is we have a Discord bot where Discord has this really big spam problem traditionally, even though they have captchas for signing up, because someone can just like complete the captcha multiple times and then just join with multiple accounts and start DMing and spamming people. And so we made this bot that allows you to verify wallet ID once you join the Discord, and then it will make sure that you can only have access to the channels that you want your users to chat to if you've been verified once. So that makes sure that only one account per one account on your server will be a human, and also if you ban someone, they're gone forever. They cannot come back. So I feel like it fits really well the idea that we traditionally have of one user equal to one human. So now Paulo is going to demo how you would set up from scratch.
All right. All right. Thanks, Miguel. I'm going to do a live coding session, show you how easy it is to integrate WorldID. This is a demo, so hopefully something will go wrong. But let's get started. So easiest way to get started with WorldID is going into our developer portal. Our developer portal will walk you through all the ways that you can integrate WorldID. And basically, we have two ways. You can integrate on-chain, or you can integrate with our API. Under the hood, the API is doing the same thing. It's calling our smart contract to verify everything on-chain. We just abstract that complexity for you if you just want to do something off-chain. So as Miguel mentioned, what I'm going to do is show you an example of claiming POAPs, but you can only claim once, verifying that you're a unique person claiming a POAP. So we have this very simple website where I can claim a POAP, but anyone can come in and just get all the POAPs for themselves. So what we're going to do is we're gonna create an action in our developer portal. Should be very, very simple. This is the important part where you select if you want to run this on what we call cloud, which uses our API, or if you want to run it on-chain. We're going to do cloud for this example and create an action here. So it's going to give you like all the instructions of what you need to do, which we're going to skip for now because I'm going to do it. And the only extra thing that you need to configure is how you want to display the verification in the WorldCoin app. So you can say something like, claim my POAP once. And you'll get here something called an action ID. The action ID is what scopes the verification for the user. So when you get a verification from WorldID, you'll get three things. One is the zero knowledge proof that verifies that you're a unique human. Two is the Merkle root, which aids with that verification. And number three is a nullifier hash. That hash is quite important because that is the unique identifier for that person for your app. So you can use that as a unique user identifier, but the cool thing is it will not track users across apps. So I'm gonna take this here, and then we're gonna start with the development. So I'm gonna set this action ID. Now I'm gonna install here the Worldcoin SDK. Sorry, I think I need my glasses. Looks like internet is not helping us out here. There we go. So I just need to, very important if you're using Next, the JavaScript widget uses a dependency that requires Windows, so you're gonna have to do a dynamic import. Should be quite simple. So you import the widget. We're gonna say that this takes widget props. And I have the widget. So I'm gonna insert the widget here. The signal is a string that you need to pass. It's part of the zero-knowledge proof verification. It's an important security measure depending on what your app is. In this case, it's not necessary, so I'm just going to add an arbitrary string. I'm going to mount the action ID. And then we're going to say on success, set proof, which we're going to create here. All right, and then we're gonna say like, don't let the person claim the POAP unless the proof is set. And we're gonna run this. So now I have the widget here. Now I need to verify the proof. So I'm going to go to my handle claim process, and then we're going to call our API here, where we send the signal is my POAP. And then the proof. And then if the response is successful, we're going to redirect the user to the claim URL. And if it's not, we're just going to console error. And then set error claiming. There we go. And this is our API request. So the cool thing is, like, if you're using our API in the developer portal, you just need to call our API to verify the response. So it will look something like this. There we go. And then we'll just send rec.body. And then again, if verification response is successful, we'll send the POAP URL. If it's not, we'll just send an error. And I think we should be fine here. Oh, we're missing an await. All right, so let's try this out. So I'm gonna verify I'm only claiming my POAP once. I have my Worldcoin app here, which you should be able to see. So the user flow is the user clicks on the CAPTCHA, then on your WorldCoin app, after you've verified an orb, you have your World ID, you scan the QR code, we connect through WalletConnect, which is like a pretty cool thing. You get here the prompt, you can see here, this is what we configure, claim my pot once, you can add whatever text that you want, and you can do the verification. Once the verification is done, I can actually go and claim my POAP. Looks like there was an error.
You have to pass the action ID to the API call.
Oh, thank you. I missed a little thing here. Let's try this again. And I can actually go and claim my pot. And the cool thing is, if I go back and I, as the same person, using the same World ID, try to do this again, I'll get an error saying that I previously verified this. So it's quite easy to integrate. If you want to go the smart contract route, you should just go to our starter kit. It's WorldCoin/World ID starter. We have a very simple smart contract that will let you do this verification on chain. As you can see, the critical code is just calling our smart contract to verify the proof. And if it's valid, you just execute your action. If it's not valid, it'll just revert. So should be quite simple. If you guys have any questions, we'll be around and we're happy to answer English or Spanish. And yep, thank you so much. What?
We can go, or we can do more stuff.
I think we can go.
Oh yeah, and also we have 20K in prizes. We have 3 main prizes. We have 2 honorable prizes, and then we have a poll for everyone. Yeah, and we also have load the notion. We have this URL that you can go to, which I mentioned before, worldcoin.org/Mexico. That has all of the information about the prices, starter resources, the documentation, the developer portal, everything that we mentioned here, and everything that you will ever need. It's on that page. Again, it's worldcoin.org/Mexico. And as I was saying before, we have 20K in prizes, which is for best use of the protocol. We have 5K, 3K, and 2K for the 3 best uses. We also have 2 1K prizes for honorable mentions that didn't make the top, but are still really cool. And then we have 8K distributed amongst everyone else that qualifies. And yeah, really, really excited to see what you build. Like we said, we'll be on the booth most of the day. We're also in the Discord. Anything that you need, we're willing to help in English or Spanish. And good luck.